Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another review, this time for Rusty. Thank you for the paid request. For those who want to send any other type of paid request for anyone out there, it could be review, re-review, topic, reaction, commentary, pretty much anything. Feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, Crossroads came out in 1986, and it's a film directed by Walter Hill. Now, Walter Hill, very fine director. I mean, just for doing 48 Hours with Eddie Murphy, breakout role for him, movie-wise, I should say, just he was on Saturday Night Live. You have Southern Comfort, film I highly enjoy, with Powers Booth, may he rest in peace. Love Southern Comfort. He did Red Heat with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Belushi. You have Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis, which is another Walter Hill film I enjoy. He did The Warriors, Come Out and Play. He's done a lot of good stuff. Sadly, like a lot of directors and a lot of actors, the recent years have not been the greatest. He did this bad Michelle Rodriguez film, I think called The Assignment, where she's a dude turned into a lady. Dude looks like a lady. The Stallone film, Bullet to the Head, Bullet in the Head, Bullet in my Head, Bullet up my shaft, whatever the hell. Like a really lame direct-to-video wannabe flick. Just Walter Hill, again, like a lot of people, just hasn't made something good in a long time. But this is between stuff like, this is before stuff like Red Heat, but this is after stuff like Southern Comfort 48 Hours. I think this might have been right after Brewster's Millions that he did with Richard Pryor. Which I remember not minding that film. Having fun with Richard Pryor and John Candy. I like the idea. I know it's a remake, but... Anyway, back to this. This stars Ralph Macchio, who at the time was writing the success of The Karate Kid. In fact, around this time, The Karate Kid Part 2 was coming out. And people forget how huge of a hit that was. I mean, people always talk about the first one, which is a good movie, but my favorite is Karate Kid Part 2. And by the way, if anyone has the 4K of Karate Kid Part 2 with the commentary of Ralph Macchio, or if anyone can find it separately, let me know. I would love to purchase it, because the only way you can get it is in the 3-pack, and I don't want Karate Kid Part 3. And I like Karate Kid Part 1, but I'm fine with what I have. But anyway, if anyone knows where to find Part 2 by itself, let me know. But yeah, Karate Kid Part 2 made over $100 million. It had the hit song, Glory of Love. Like I said, loved Karate Kid Part 2. And sadly, this film did not do well. And then Ralph Macchio was in a film called Distant Thunder, where he was the son of John Lithgow, who's like a Vietnam vet who has a bit of PTSD. That did nothing. Other than My Cousin Vinny, which, to be honest, more people remember that for Joe Pesci than Ralph Macchio. Some people forget Ralph Macchio was even in that film. But My Cousin Vinny is a fun movie. But again, it was a hit, but again, more people remember Joe Pesci for that, of course. And like even after that, he would be in films, but they didn't really do much. I mean, he was in a bit role in the Anthony Hopkins film Hitchcock. He was in, oh, what was it? Was it Beer League? I think that's what it was called. I remember that being a fun movie. And of course, now he's found success with Cobra Kai. Was it into its 5th season or so? But Ralph Macchio I always liked. I always thought he was a good performer. A bit underrated because they just know him for The Karate Kid. Of course, he was in films like The Outsiders and such before that. But it's just too bad his career didn't really, in a way, it didn't really take off because, like I said, other than Karate Kid films, you have films like this that kind of disappear. My Cousin Vinny, which he was a supporting role, and that's that. Now, other people you have in the film, Joe Seneca, who I remember as Dr. Meadows in the Blob remake. He was the guy who was part of the military, but he was a villainous character. He would fuck over people in order to save the project. He got his comeuppance when the Blob took his ass down into the sewer, right through that damn manhole. Meadows! And it was cool to see him in another film. And of course, this is before the Blob, because that was 88, this is 86. So, Joe Seneca is in this. You also have Jami Gertz from The Lost Boys. She's in this film. Joe Morton, who will later be in Terminator 2, is Miles Dyson. Speed, he has a bit role in this. And the plot of the film is Ralph Macchio. He's studying guitar at Juilliard School, but he's really been looking into the blues and looks up about this old blues player. And supposedly there's this one song he never released. This mythical song. And Ralph Macchio would love to find it. Play it, maybe sell it, maybe you'll get rich with it, who knows. So he finds one of the people who knew this guy, played by Joe Seneca, who's in this minimum security hospital. So Ralph Macchio, he doesn't know how to get to him, so he gets this part-time job as a janitor, so he could be near the guy. They start talking. Joe Seneca says, oh, like, you don't know anything about the blues. Okay, fine, you can play guitar a little bit, but you have no soul in playing guitar. One thing leads to another. He's been infatuated with Ralph Macchio's energy, and I don't know if I say personality at the time, but just that Ralph Macchio's so interested in this. And then he goes, well, if you get me out of here and you get us to Mississippi, then I'll get you the song. Because Ralph Macchio's not sure what to do because it could screw up his whole life, but he does it anyway. And then they go off to Mississippi. And a lot of times Joe Seneca, you tell he's a bit of a bullshit artist because he talks about how he had all this money, but by the time they get to the train, he only has $40. So they have to hitchhike. And Ralph Macchio, rightfully so, is complaining about it, but then Joe Seneca's like, well, you know, I thought you were a lightning boy, but you know, you're just a chicken ass. And then a chicken shit. And the way Joe Seneca is playing off is that by going through a little bit of these hardships, it gives you real life experience. So you can play the blues better. And that's kind of the journey of Ralph Macchio's character. Whether it's idea of being a bit down and dirty, Sally dealing with racists who don't like Joe Seneca, and Ralph Macchio's confused about it and pissed about it, rightfully so. At one point stealing the Cadillac, meeting Jami Gertz, falling in love, she leaves for her own reasons, that bit of heartbreak, all these little things put together, because as Joe Seneca says, the blues ain't nothing but a good man feeling bad. Now, the film itself, I thought it was okay. I thought it was an alright film. If you're really into the blues, you're going to get a lot more out of this. I'm pretty indifferent when it comes to the blues. It's not my favorite piece of music. I mean, I'm more into rock and roll. I'm more into like AC/DC, Metallica. Maybe even those soundtracks like the Rocky IV soundtrack. Like, that's more my kind of music, but it's not bad. It's just not something I'm infatuated with. But, I mean, the music is still well done. You got Ry Cooder doing a good chunk of the music, who worked with Walter Hill. And Ry Cooder, my favorite score from him is probably Southern Comfort. I love that score, that theme. And like I said, it's a bit of a road trip movie, quite a bit of it, and again, it depends how much you like the blues, it depends how much you like Ralph Macchio, who does a good job here. Like before this, he did a good job in this film, which I thought was a bit underrated, called Teachers, with him and Nick Nolte. But again, I wouldn't say I was fully pulled into loving it, if that makes sense. Where I'm not minding the proceedings, not minding the actors, and I'm looking around and okay. But it never really, for me, went to second gear until it got to this bit that I didn't really see coming. Which I'm getting in spoilers now. Where it goes to a bit of supernatural route. Where you find out in flashbacks that Joe Morton is the assistant to, now he calls himself Stratch. And Robert Judd plays this business-like guy named Stratch. And he's pretty much the devil. Who's got Joe Seneca to sell his soul back in the day to be able to play the blues. And now it's time to collect. And they're at the Crossroads, literally. And the devil pretty much has a bet. Fine. I got this guy, this guitar, played by Steve Vai. Or is it Steve Vai? I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. Steve Vai. Pretty good guitarist. You do a guitar battle with him using this young gentleman. And if you win, then I'll tear up the contract. Joe Seneca doesn't want Ralph Macchio to do it. Ralph Macchio doesn't believe in this. He's like, okay, fine, I call your bluff, now what? It's understandable that Ralph Macchio doesn't believe in this. You're not going to just automatically believe, yeah, this is the devil. And then they get transported to this club, and the best scene in the movie is the guitar duel. And you'd have to ask guitar experts how they feel with how Ralph Macchio, he has to mimic. You don't have to ask art. I mean, it looked good to me as a guy who knows nothing about playing a guitar. And the guitar work was nice, and them going back and forth. And I said this spoilers. Ralph Macchio edging over the other guy because of his school teachings. So it's nice that stuff is not meant to be useless. That is what helps him push him over the edge. Is it because of his training? He was able to train his fingers during all the years of going to Juilliard school on other pieces of music. And that's, like I said, I think that's the best scene in the movie. The music is well done. Really nice guitar work. The way it's framed. The going back and forth. The way the crowd is really getting into it. Which makes you feel and fetches to get into it. Overall, nicely done scene. And Ralph Macchio wins. The contract is torn up. And then the two are walking along, and they talk about how they're going to go to Chicago, and then they'll go their separate ways, and then that'll be that. So again, Crossroads is a film that, it's one of those films that you don't mind, but you don't see yourself watching again. Not because it's a bad movie, but because, in a weird way, it felt largely uneventful. I mean, like, the events, compared to a lot of other movies, feel a bit mundane until the supernatural third act, which, like, okay, that kicks things up a notch. But just up until then, if it wasn't Ralph Macchio and Joe Seneca, I could say maybe it'd be a bit boring. Because it's not like you get like crazy, insane, crazy bits. Like I said, it's little bits here and there. But yeah, Crossroads, it's fine for what it is, and like I said, if you're into the blues music, stuff like that, definitely worth a look. So, for those who want to give it a shot, feel free. Like I said, it's not a bad film. Thanks for watching, take care, we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.